Hi, Democrats. Today is Thursday, June 17th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. And happy birthday, Mama. All righty. So every day I come to you, I'm going to try and talk about bills elected and elections. So let's just get started. So the bills I want to talk about, super excited. ACA stands. So once again, they tried to overturn the Affordable Care Act, and the Supreme Court said, you don't have a standing, the ACA stands. Yay, hooray. So that's one. And then the second, about an hour ago, the president signed a bill making Juneteenth a federal holiday. Woohoo, about time. Now, I have seen the grumblings. I've seen the folks fussing that, they give us a federal holiday, big whoop, blah, blah, blah. I am of a different mindset. You're free to your mindset. I'm not poo-pooing yours, but I am of a different mindset, which is why I'm celebrating it and glad that it's become a federal holiday. Sometimes you have to make a holiday. You have to make it a federal holiday and give people a day off for people to ask the question. It shouldn't be that way. People should just be curious enough to ask, but we know that folks aren't. And if we give folks a holiday, it's the first step. First, you have to acknowledge it. And making it a federal holiday is an acknowledgement. Making it a federal holiday when we as a nation thought we were done coming up with holidays makes it worth it. And so I'm glad that Juneteenth is a federal holiday. And for those of you who somehow missed it last year when we made it a federal case, and we made it a big deal, for those of you who are unaware what Juneteenth is, the quick version is this. That slavery was abolished, was made illegal in January of 1863. And the folks who were closer to the Capitol found out about it. It took until June 19th, 1865 for Texans to find out. And so folks in Texas and this part of the country had the benefit of slaves for about 2.5 extra years. Juneteenth is when they call it Jubilee. It's the day when folks in this part of the country finally found out that slavery was not legal. And then there was a big scatter and there's all this stuff. It's really interesting if you read about it. But it's significant because not only does it have to do with the end of slavery, not the end of Jim Crow, not the end of all of that kind of stuff. That's a whole nother conversation. But the end of slavery, it also is a lesson in the fact that, yeah, they still cheated us, right? They still cheated us. And so, yay, we're finally beginning to acknowledge it, finally doing something about it, and I celebrate it. It passed by the Senate unanimously. So what that means that if our senators showed up, they didn't vote against it. So I'm going to, acknowledge that as well, because I never get to say anything that isn't negative about our senators. And so here's one time when I'm going to say they did not oppose it because it passed the Senate unanimously. Okay. Now, it passed Congress 415 to 14 votes. So there were 14 Congress people who voted against it. I am relieved because I looked. I'm relieved to say that none of them were from Oklahoma. So none of the Oklahoma Congress people opposed this bill. Yay, hurrah. Again, I get to say something that's not negative about our congressional delegation. It's so rare. I want to make sure that I highlight it. We could be Texas, where 2 of their Congress people, California, Arizona, Alabama, each had 2 of their Congress people oppose it. How do you even explain that? It's crazy town. But none of our federal delegation, our Congress people, our senators, none of them voted against it. So those are the electeds I want to highlight today. Our federal delegation did not vote against this. I know that seems like a weird thing to celebrate, but y'all know how they are. So congratulations, you guys did the right thing. All right, so there we go. Today is June 17, 2021. It's a day where I said something semi-positive about our congressional delegation and our 2 senators. Okay, so elections. Now it's time to talk about elections. I'm going to focus on, well, first I'm going to say July 13th in about 13 to 17 counties and cities all over the state, there are propositions to be voted on. Go out to the Oklahoma State Election Board and figure out if you have an election coming up. And it's not too late. It's not too late to sign up for your absentee ballot, so it can be sent to your home and you can do your research in advance. If not, go ahead and vote too. You might as well go ahead and vote and get into the habit. Now I want to focus on convention, right? So last Saturday on the 12th, we had what turns out to be day one of our state convention, where we elected our officers, our chair, vice chair, secretary, and treasurer. Our vice chair is Eric Proctor from Tulsa. The secretary is Nana Dankwa from Oklahoma County. And Rachel Hunsucker is our treasurer, and she's from Wagner County. So very excited about that. We elected 2 of our 4 affirmative action slots. The first position went to Jakia Harris from Oklahoma County, and the second went to Ali Canada from Tulsa County. We have 2 more affirmative action slots to fill. We are working to secure a venue or decide if we're going to go back virtual for our for day 2 of our convention, the final day of our 2021 convention. And as soon as we get those details pinned down, you will get a call. We will let you know. And we're working on getting that all settled. So from convention, we've learned some lessons. And I am, as you guys know, all about some continuous improvement, always trying to find a way to make it better, even if in the middle of it, we have to change course. And since we have this natural recess and we're changing course, one of the things that we're doing is looking for a way to expedite how we handle Constitution and bylaw set-asides and resolution set-asides. We're working on that. Be on the lookout. We're going to publish something in the next couple of days, how we can make that process go smoother so that even the new people can figure out what's going on. What typically happens, this isn't my first, second, or third convention. What typically happens are the insiders. It feels like the insiders know what's going on, and they're making all these motions and negotiating all these things, and they're doing it so fast and so complicated that the new folks don't even know what's going on. They can't vote up or down. They don't know what's going on. And sadly, it is my belief that sometimes that might run off some of our volunteers. And I don't want to do that. I want everybody to feel like what's going on, feel like the same shot as somebody who has been involved in a long time. They were able to participate and vote and decide and be a part. And so we're working on that because I want everybody to feel included. So be on the lookout for that. We might send that out before the call even, so that people can start thinking about that. It should not take an hour and a half, 2 hours to deal with one constitution change. And so we're working on that. I want you to know that I hear you guys, even the ones who are mad at me. And, I hear you guys, and we're trying to make sure that we make this process easier and more inclusive. So we're working on that. We didn't get to the candidates, and I hope that we get to the candidates in day 2. We already have announced candidates that need volunteers, that need people to start helping them for 2022. And we didn't get to that because, folks kept making motions and we didn't get to the end of convention. And the only reason that we get together, as far as I'm concerned, is to recruit, elect, and support Democrats. And we need to focus on that. And so we have an announced candidate for governor. That's former Senator Connie Johnson. We have an announced candidate for Congressional District 4, and that's Mary Brennan. We have a couple of announced candidates in Norman, and I can't remember their seats right now, but we have Troy Green and Jarrett Deck, and we have an announced candidate in Shawnee and Gregory Hardin. And we have announced candidates, and we need to get to a place where we can talk about them and we can hear them tell us what they stand for. We have an announced candidate for Congressional District 1 and John Swoboda. So we keep paying attention. We're going to have them on, but, I'd like to see how many of them I can get to speak at our reconvene because they need help. All of them need volunteers to start helping. All of them donations. And so let's focus on that. Let's focus on getting ourselves ready for 2022, and let's not get bogged down in minutia. All righty, guys. It is June 17th. I will be back tomorrow at 4:15. Thanks for joining me.